What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with some Diablo Immortal talk, and I actually wanted to chat about the game a little bit. I'd kind of been playing off and on here over the last week or so, wanting to get a feel for the game, wanting to put some hours in it before I actually kind of jumped on and talked about it. Obviously, it's been a very hot topic in the gaming world, and as someone who has played console and PC games their entire life, in addition to playing mobile games for quite a while, I think I have a little bit of a unique perspective, since most people looking at this are coming at it from the mobile game or the PC game side, and there's been a lot of drama, I guess you could say, and it's kind of fun to watch. Overall, I do kind of agree that the game has a lot of very bad predatory monetization in it. Personally, I've never been a huge Diablo fan. My extent of Diablo is basically playing the free trial of Diablo 3, I think to like level 20. Blizzard gave you a chance to do it free to play, and it just never grabbed me. I just was never like really into the gameplay. The story never really grabbed me. And quite honestly, I find the gameplay a little bit monotonous and just gets boring after a while. So just full disclosure, I'm not a huge Diablo fan. I've never really gotten into the series before. But I actually really wanted to make this video because as I've been playing this game, and I've got about 25 hours in it so far, and I don't know if I'm going to get much more than that, because this is reminding me an awful lot of another mobile game that I played a while back, which was Marvel Future Revolution. And I actually wanted to talk a little bit today about how I think this game is actually going to be just like Marvel Future Revolution, and that it's probably going to die in about 3 or 4 months. And I know it's going to sound weird because everybody's like, but it's a Blizzard game, you know, it's mainstream, and they're going to have, you know, content updates, they're going to do all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but at the same time, this is Blizzard, and if you pay attention to anything with Blizzard, myself being a huge Overwatch fan, I know just how Blizzard screws over their fans time and time again. But I just see so many similarities between this game and Marvel Future Revolution that I just can't help but think this game is not going to last a little bit more than 3 or 4 months before people start to abandon it. The first problem is the gameplay loop is just boring after a while. Initially, it was kind of fun. You know, the abilities are kind of neat. You get all these new powers and things as you're leveling up. It suffers from the same problem most of these games do, is that early on, you feel like you're progressing, you feel like you're gaining new abilities, new skills. But then as you get further into it, your progression slows down quite a bit, especially if you're not spending money, and you just feel like you're not making any headway. This is what really was an issue for me in Marvel Future Revolution, which was a game that I actually really enjoyed for about 2 months. I think I got to like level 86 on my highest character, but I was playing 4 or 5 of the characters at the same time, which was kind of cool. But I just eventually hit a wall with the progression where it was like, this just, you play it 3 or 4 nights in a row and you just don't progress. You don't make any progress in the game. And unfortunately, Diablo Immortal felt just like that. I can kind of start to see where it's getting into that part of the gameplay where you're going to go a couple nights just grinding, and you're going to get a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't really help your character. A lot of people have been talking about, oh, it's so cool though how the loot pops up and you just, everything's raining loot. You get kills on these demons and all this stuff's flying everywhere. So loot pinata. And I said kind of the same thing I say with games like Destiny and looter shooters and things like that. It's like, well, yeah, it's cool that the loot's popping out, but what does it matter when 99% of it is absolute trash and it doesn't really do anything for your character? So, and obviously there's been all the stuff about farming the rifts with the legendary crests and buying them from the shop, and the free-to-play and low-spend players really not having access to a lot of the higher-level gems unless they get them through the marketplace. So there's a lot of stuff with that too that can help or hurt your progression and not having access to it. But it feels a lot like Marvel Future Revolution in that sense. And then you also have the way they hit you up with a lot of these microtransactions where it's like after every dungeon they give you a pack and they try to entice you into buying that pack, and then leads into more packs. Marvel Future Revolution did the same thing. Every time you cleared a major stage or beat a major boss, they offered you these packs for like $9.99, and then it went up to $15.99, and then it was $25, and it kept escalating as they tried to get you into get you onto the escalator to keep paying and start paying for things. But the biggest problem I think this game is going to run into is it does not actually respect the money that its whales are spending. That was the big problem Marvel Future Revolution had. You had whales who were spending $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 plus, and they were not getting any meaningful upgrades. There's all kinds of videos and stuff out there on Marvel Future Revolution of the big time whales, you know, spending all this money to buy gear late game, and they did not get a single stat upgrade after they spent like $5,000. And I've seen the same thing in this game. It's like you could spend a whole bunch of money and none of your gems work out. You get like 1 or 2 stars. You don't get the full 5-star gems. I think the most famous thing right now is the Blizzard streamer Quinn69 has been playing the game. I think he spent almost $20,000 US, and he has yet to get a full 5-star legendary gem drop. And that's just crazy. And if the whales start to see that, they start to feel that, they're going to feel like, you know what, my time isn't being respected, and my money is certainly not being respected. Because in most pay-to-win games, the whales can get a clear advantage by continually spending money. But if you have a game like this, a game like Marvel Future Revolution, where they're dropping these insane sums of money and they're not getting any visible upgrade, they're not getting any kind of stat upgrade, not getting any kind of bonus that helps them, you know, feel like they're dominating the game or getting better in PvP, or anything like that, they're eventually going to get tired of it. They're going to move on to another game. And that's essentially what happened with Marvel Future Revolution. Was after about 3 months, all the whales were just like, this is BS. We're not going to spend any more money on the game. The game is pretty much dead in North America. I know the only place that really people are still playing the game is over in I think China and South Korea. That's like the biggest market for it. Still, the game's still going on. They're actually still updating it, surprisingly, but it pretty much fell off the face of the earth and is not making a whole lot of money anymore. And unfortunately, it reminds me so much of what happened with that game. It reminds me so much of Diablo Immortal right now, with this very same systems in place to try to milk the whales out of their money, but not actually give them anything. And I guess that's to kind of encourage the further gambling aspect of it. Like, you know, oh, this next one I buy, I'm going to get something. I'm in so deep already, I got to keep going. It's like you're at the casino. You've put in $100, you lost it, you got $100 left in your wallet, you're like, well crap, I gotta try to make the 100 back, because, you know, I can't walk out of here empty-handed. So you put another 50 in, you lose that 50, it's like, oh no, I've got to get out of here with something now. I'm so invested in it, I gotta put the other 50 in, I gotta keep trying, I'm gonna get that drop, I'm gonna get that win, and it just never happens. So eventually what will happen is most of those whales will just say, enough is enough, and they'll bounce. So I don't see this game doing very well over a long period of time. It's probably going to make Blizzard a little bit of money here the first couple months, but I think that's going to die off pretty quickly. And I got to be honest with you guys, the game is just boring to me. And if you like Diablo, that's great. If you enjoy this type of gameplay, that's great. I'm not saying you shouldn't play it or you shouldn't have fun. I just personally don't care for the gameplay. It's a boring, grindy game, and it just doesn't feel like you make much progression after a certain point. So it's just not for me, and that's fine. And just to weigh in a little bit also on, I guess, the free-to-play, the pay-to-win type stuff in this game, I can actually see both of those arguments with this game. I do think the microtransactions in this game are incredibly pay-to-win and incredibly predatory, but at the same time, it's kind of like most mobile games where if you really want to just play and grind, you can pretty much do that free-to-play. If you don't care about PvP, you can pretty much enjoy the game free-to-play or low spend, as long as you understand that you're not going to progress as fast as the people that are spending money. With PvP being brought into the fold, it makes it pay to win, but for the most part, these games are usually pay to speed things up. That's what I often say about Raid Shadow Legends. And I also played a game, Warframe, for PC and console for quite some time, which people tried to say it was pay to win, but Warframe never really had any PvP. You really didn't gain any advantage over anybody by buying things. You just sped up your time in terms of leveling up your equipment and getting access to better weapons, better warframes faster. So you could pay and speed it up, but if you didn't know how to play the game, it really didn't matter if you went out and bought the best warframe or one of the best guns. You pretty much were still going to be bad at the game. It didn't really make any much of a difference there. Whereas with a game like this, where you can buy your power, basically there's no way a free-to-play player can compete with a whale because their stats are just so much better. They're going to get one shot every time in PvP. That's definitely a pay-to-win aspect. I often will talk about Raid Shadow Legends and say Raid Shadow Legends is more of a pay to speed things up. I know a lot of people like to think Raid is pay to win, but honestly, that, to me personally, I think that only applies to like the very, very top 0.1% that's up there at the very top of Platinum Arena. I don't really think you gain a whole lot in Raid by spending a ton of money, because there's so much RNG involved with the shard packs. You can spend thousands of dollars and never pull a single Void Legendary. The thing about Raid, though, is you can spend that money and speed up your account progression by buying things like the chickens and buying gems and buying energy packs. If you talk to a lot of the high-end whales in Raid, they'll actually tell you that they spent most of their money on energy to farm dungeons to get better gear. A lot of times, like I said, if you buy the shard packs, you're just going to keep getting screwed by RNG. But at one point you do, like I said, that top 1%, you're eventually going to get to a point where they are spending so much money that they are going to gain a little bit of an advantage by their chances increasing with the amount of shards they're pulling to get those better legendaries. But again, that's like the top 1%. And I think that kind of goes for most of these mobile games. It's not going to affect as many people as you think it is. So if you want to play the game and enjoy the game, you like the grind, if you don't want to spend money, you can certainly enjoy it. The argument that's made is like, oh, well, you're still supporting the company. And I get that, but at this, it's unfortunate, but in this day and age, I really think this business model for games is kind of here to stay, unfortunately. Really, unless the government gets involved like it has in some European countries, especially here in the US, I just don't see anything changing. Everybody wants to make money. All the PC and console companies see that the mobile market makes a ton of money, a lot more than they do, and they want to get in on the action. They want to get in on this business model. And I think at the end of the day, what you have to decide is the game fun? Do you enjoy playing the game? Are you enjoying playing the game without spending? Or are you enjoying playing the game spending a little bit? And, if the gameplay is not fun and you don't enjoy it, like I know there's a lot of people I know who have been playing Raid for a year or two, and they do nothing but complain about the game. And I'm kind of like, well, if you hate it that much, just go play something else. You shouldn't hate a game so much that you just don't enjoy playing it anymore. So that's going to unfortunately be what it boils down to, is we're going to have these games where this stuff is going on. And I'm watching what Blizzard is doing with Overwatch 2, and I'm a little concerned for that. But at the end of the day, you just have to decide, if you're not spending money, are you enjoying the game? Do you like the grind? Do you like the gear drops? Do you like your character? Are you having fun? Do you like the story? And if that's the case, then just play the game and enjoy it. Don't worry about what everybody's saying about, oh, it's pay to win, or, free to play can't compete. Just like I said, a lot of that's just going to apply to the top 1% in the game. If you're not in there trying to farm PvP and be a super champion, you don't have anything to worry about. If you enjoy the game, just enjoy it, play it, and have your fun. And that's really the only thing I'm going to say about that there. I don't really want to get too much into the, the pay-to-win drama thing. It's definitely there. The people saying there's no pay-to-win in Diablo are full of crap. But at the same time, I think the outrage, I don't want to say it's overblown, because like I said, I don't like seeing this stuff coming into games. It's because it definitely is a predatory practice. But I think what happened here is that you have a lot of people who played Diablo on PC and console for the longest time. Blizzard said, hey, we're making a mobile version of Diablo. So they expected a game that was going to basically be like a console game or a PC game, where it's like you pay one time, you get the game, and you just play it. I don't think they were prepared for the actual, mobile game systems that would be implemented in this game by NetEase, who's a Chinese mobile game developer who, has a track record of doing these kind of microtransactions and making this kind of money. So I think that's what happened, was you have so many people that aren't used to it, who are coming into it now. They're just losing their minds because they see what actually goes on in the mobile games. And like I said, unfortunately, I think that's what we're going to see more and more of. But the other reason that I also think this game is not going to last long is because you have a lot of mainstream video game media covering it now, due to it being a Blizzard title, more of a mainstream title than most of your mobile games. Like, you don't have Kotaku out there covering Raid Shadow Legends. You don't have Dexterro out there talking about Raid Shadow Legends or Marvel Strike Force or any of these other games. But, Kotaku's picking this up, IGN's picking this up, all the major gaming media outlets are going with it, all the major gaming YouTubers, even ones that don't even play Diablo, are talking about it. So all that negative attention, I think it's like the lowest rated game on Metacritic of all time now, based on the player ratings. Like, all that negative attention is not going to be good for the game, and any prospective player who might have been at a glance thinking about picking the game up is probably not going to now, seeing all this negative backlash. So that's another reason I think that this game is probably not going to be long for this world, despite the popularity of it being a Blizzard title and all the people that are trying to get behind it and thought they were going to move over to this game and reignite their YouTube channel or whatever they're going to do there. But I really don't see this game making it more than a couple of months here before it starts to die off. But anyways, I would love to hear your all's thoughts on this game. Are you playing Diablo Immortal? Are you enjoying it? Do you like it so far? Like I said, personally, it's just not for me. The gameplay has never been able to grab me in the Diablo series, and this game, even after like 25 hours, it's not something I really want to play. I'd rather just go play Final Fantasy 14 or play Raid or something. So it's just not been able to grab me yet. But I'd love to hear what you guys think about the game, and if you're enjoying your playtime so far. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. As always, hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you again next time.